inspiring words from such a worthy winner, Nicholas Khan of Australia there. And he was last year's world champion and a deserving winner. But this year, we have the opportunity to crown one of the next two trainers with the new World Championship title.
Yeah, and let's meet those trainers now. Anna is on stage, ready to introduce him. Take it away.
Thanks, guys, and welcome to the main stage. We have a fine-looking audience here. They're ready for the Pokemon video game Juniors Finals. And I know they're going to give a warm welcome to our two competitors. Get yourselves ready to cheer first. From Japan, it's Wonn Lee! And also from Japan, let's hear it for Sota Tamemasa! We can't wait to watch you guys play, so please shake hands and take your seats. Good luck. Go ahead and sit down. Good job. Guys, I can't wait to watch these two play. What about you?
I can't wait either, Anna. Thank you so much for that incredible introduction. Wonn and Sota are getting ready to battle, and it looks like they brought some of their favorite Pokemon with them to cheer them on.
These absolute rock stars ready to take on Music City and take a world championship. The band's all here, Stakataka and Snorlax sitting on stage with them. I'm so excited to be able to bring Junior Finals to you guys very, very shortly. Two players from Japan duking it out to take that title.
Yeah, both these trainers are no stranger to the larger stage here. Wonn Lee, a finalist at the Japan Championships in 2017 and in 2018, actually beat out Sota in the top 4.
Really, really great resume there. But I think what you guys might not be able to hear at home too much is the crowd are going wild for that team. Terrakion, Whimsicott, Gengar, Tapu Bulu, Komodo, and Snorlax. Incredible, incredible team.
Without a doubt, I think some favorites that we've seen do well throughout the entire year on his team, and I'm incredibly excited to see how he's going to pilot it. His opponent, Sota, also no stranger to the larger stage, top 4 at the Japan Championships this year, 19th in the 27 Japan Championships, and look at that team.
I think we might have a slight idea on what Sota wants to do. 3 Trick Room setters on his team: Oranguru, Snorlax, Dusclops, Mawile, Pelipper, and Mimikyu. Really, really interesting and strong strategy. One thing to mention for both these players here is that they both like Snorlax.
They both really like Snorlax, and you know, it's great to see two Snorlaxes, it looks like, a little one and a big one there, cheering their trainers on. I'm so excited to see how this matchup's going to play out, because you know, if you look at Sota's team, like you mentioned, he has 3 Trick Room setters. I think if he wants to get Trick Room up on the field and he wants to give his Snorlax an opportunity to go for something like that belly drum strategy we've seen do well in the Masters division, I think there's going to be really no way to stop him. He probably has a Trick Room for every possible situation.
Too many tricks up his sleeves, and we are just about to kick it into team preview for you guys. Wonn Lee of Japan against Sota Tamemasa of Japan. On Sota's team, we're going to be seeing Oranguru, Snorlax, Dusclops, Mawile, Pelipper, and Mimikyu. 3 Trick Room setters, and if he can get that Trick Room up, it's going to be super, super dangerous for Wonn. Terrakion, Whimsicott, Gengar, Tapu Bulu, Komodo, and Snorlax. Is there a way that you can see that Wonn can stop this Trick Room strategy, Gabby?
I think Wonn's just going to have to go for pure power to try and stop the Trick Room. I mean, looking at his team, you know, there's really nothing that can learn Taunt. I mean, occasionally Whimsicott can also learn Trick Room, but you know, there's really only so much he can do. So if he has something like that tech available to him, I think he's going to have to lead it. Otherwise, you know, I might be a little bit biased here, but I remember the Whimsicott Terrakion strategy of days of yore, and I would love to see that here. Just get that Terrakion powered up as much as possible thanks to its justified ability and Whimsicott's beat-up move, and hope that, you know, an attack of any kind will be enough to simply knock out whatever Trick Room setter Sota decides to bring.
Yeah, with the advent of Z-moves, Terrakion gains a really, really powerful attack. Doesn't have to rely on the spread damage of Rock Slide. Guys, we are here. The Pokemon World Championships Junior Division Final is about to begin. Let us know who you're rooting for using the hashtag #PlayPokemon. The crowd are going wild. Snorlax is everywhere. Wonn Lee against Sota Tamemasa. Team preview is ended. We are going into round 1. They'll see the first leads coming out. It will be Terrakion and Whimsicott coming out for Wonn Lee. Sota Tamamasa responding here. He's going to be leading with Snorlax and Mimikyu. Great combinations from both of these trainers.
Two pairs that we have seen next to each other in many times, maybe not necessarily in this format, but that Mimikyu carries with it the disguise ability, so it will have to be hit at least twice by an attack before it can take damage. Because of that, Whimsicott's only option to stop it is going to be something like a taunt, but instead it's going for the beat up into the Mimikyu.
That's not going to activate any justified ability, but it will break the disguise on Mimikyu and do some good damage here. So the disguise is broken. Terrakion moving quickly. This is a Z move. We are going to see on the first turn, Terrakion activating the Rocky Z. Continental Thrust. You imagine, Gabby, Mimikyu is going to feel the full force of this Z move.
Without a doubt, Wonn Lee not even relying on Justified just yet, instead deciding to get the Trick Room off the field. Maybe going to try and boost up that Terrakion later if he even needs it. I mean, look at this huge boulder crashing into that Mimikyu. It's gonna be a one-hit knockout.
Mimikyu going down on the first turn. One of the Trick Room options denied for Sota here. A belly drum coming out for Snorlax, so massive amount of power being given to this Snorlax. It loses half its HP, regains half of it due to its berry. I believe that's going to be the Aguav berry being activated on that Snorlax. But Terrakion in a position now, the fighting type damage is going to be massive going into that Snorlax.
And what a brave move for that Snorlax as well. Whimsicott also known to carry Encore. I mean, if Wonn wants to, he can lock that Snorlax into something like that belly drum and leave it up to that Mawile that just took the field to sort of stop this Whimsicott. I mean, that's why Whimsicott is so scary. You just don't really know what it does until it's already done it and you're stuck adjusting.
With 3 Pokemon on his team knowing Trick Room, it looks like Whimsicott in the position to get all the tricks out the bag in this turn. Whimsicott and Terrakion again, that justified beat-up combination so potent. Encore threat really, really big here. Mawile does have the type advantage going up against Terrakion and Whimsicott. It will be going for a Mega Evolution, trading its Intimidate ability, going to get some huge power on the field alongside that Snorlax too.
Yeah, but it's really up to Wonn here. He needs to decide what he wants to remove from the field, but instead that Terrakion just going for a protect, no damage from it this turn.
Looks like we're going to be seeing the Encore going into that Snorlax. It is locked into Belly Drum once again. So really great turn here from Wonn. The attack going into that Terrakion once again as well. And Snorlax locked into Belly Drum, it fails.
It does fail, and that Snorlax is going to have to switch out if it wants to do anything for the next few turns. Mawile, good attempt there, I think, to remove that Terrakion from the field. It definitely is the greater threat in terms of damage output, but, you know, Sota's going to have to try and pick up a couple knockouts here to even the score. Otherwise, Whimsicott, really unthreatened by anything on the field right now, can simply go for that beat-up, and Terrakion can just start, honestly, even using something like Rock Slide. Even if it misses at this point, you know, Wonn's bought himself a little bit of time. He can afford that.
It's interesting to see what coverage move Terrakion might run. It could run something like Stomping Tantrum to do damage against that Mawile. We see Pelipper coming in for the Snorlax. So Snorlax losing its Belly Drum boost, but more importantly, freed from the Encore as the Drizzle is set up by Pelipper. We're going to see Whimsicott moving quickly now. It's going to go for the beat up. Terrakion is going to be taking some damage, but at raising its physical attack stat each time it gets hit. Beat up obviously hitting for each member of your party that is still healthy.
Yeah, so that Snorlax is now going to be at +3 attack. Remember, it did get intimidated when that Mawile first switched in.
Yeah, this is such a dangerous combination. So much pressure coming out from one side of the field. It hits 4 times due to all the Pokemon in his party. Close combat into the Mawile, and it goes down!
That's insane. I mean, close combat, it's a fighting type move, so because of Mawile's Steel Fairy typing, it does neutral damage, but, you know, Mawile, not the bulkiest Pokemon. Terrakion probably really only needed to negate the Intimidate and get maybe 1 boost on top of that for that knockout. I cannot imagine how afraid this Snorlax is taking the field right now. If that Pelipper has no way to stop the Terrakion from attacking or knocking it out or really anything, it's going to be game over for Sota in this game 1.
Yeah, really huge lead advantage for Wonn here, but Sota not out of it just yet. There is obviously game 2, game 3. That obviously the chance to adjust going into those games as well. A lot of information gained here about that lead of Whimsicott and Terrakion, knowing that Trick Room wasn't as safe as Sota thought it could be, and taking this time to think about what the turn that he wants to go into here. Whimsicott obviously proving so dangerous alongside that Terrakion with the massive amount of attack boosting that we can see here. There's going to be a beat up into the Pelipper, breaking any potential focus sashes here. Really smart play. Terrakion, obviously the next Pokemon to move. It's going to be a Rock Slide going into the Pelipper. That's a knockout. Snorlax taking a huge amount of damage. It's already lost its Aguav Berry due to eating it earlier and now unable to heal itself. Snorlax will be attacking this turn.
No, it won't.
Ooh.
That Snorlax was unable to do anything that turn. It looks like it flinched.
Unfortunate turn for Sota there. Wonn, again, the pressure coming out from these two Pokemon, proving too much for Sota to handle in this first game. Snorlax, the final Pokemon. Terrakion should be able to clean this up easily. And we see there the Encore coming out from Whimsicott, just locking into Snorlax there as Terrakion goes for the close combat. Rounding out game one, Wonn Lee, 1-0 in this set. And what an incredible game. You can see the building blocks of his strategy there. His coach Stack Attacker must have really, really helped.
Oh, without a doubt. Terrakion and Whimsicott just showing just how terrifying they are. But Sota, he does have options to adjust. As we mentioned during team preview, he has 3 different Trick Room setters. You know, I think he might have picked the Mimikyu because he was worried about maybe getting taunted or otherwise having the Trick Room negated in that form. But instead, you know, Wonn made the right call. He broke the disguise. He knocked out that Mimikyu and just really set himself up for an advantage. So,
I love that play. That play was incredible.
It was such a good play. So I think Sota just needs to pick a different Trick Room setter. You know, he also has potentially the Oranguru and the Dusclops available to him. You know, I'm not really sure which one of these Pokemon would be the best choice. It really depends on what other moves they have on them and what kind of strategy Sota wants to use beyond just getting the Trick Room up. But if he really is that worried about something like a taunt, which is probably why he brought the Mimikyu, maybe just bring something that's bulky enough to survive the Continental Crush. And we didn't see the taunt the first time. Maybe we won't see it a second time.
Yeah, that combination of beat up and justified going to put so much offensive pressure, allowing Wonn to be able to make plays, not even have to use defensive moves like taunt. We haven't seen it on the Whimsicott. Maybe it's not running it at all. Maybe it is, and maybe Wonn just wants to save it for later on, making sure that he can find the options and see where the Pokemon holding the Mental Herb could be. Mimikyu, obviously, we just saw the disguise. We didn't see any items or anything. Dusclops, usually a Pokemon that likes to carry the Eviolite item, which would boost its defenses because it can still evolve one stage further. Oranguru has options to it as well. People like to run berries on it, Mental Herbs sometimes even the Psychium Z to be able to avoid taunts and get Trick Room up. But guys, we see the handshake. We're going into game 2. Wonn Lee, 1 game away from being the new Junior Division World Champion. Sota Tamemasa has to be able to answer in this game. Gabby, I'm so excited to see what's going to happen now.
I am so excited as well. You also have to remember, we didn't see Wonn Lee's other Pokemon in that game. We only saw that Whimsicott and Terrakion, and it looks like we're going to be seeing them again from Wonn, but relying on that same lead. Such incredible power. It's going to be a tough ask for Sota's Mimikyu and Snorlax to answer it.
Same leads from both these trainers here, confident that maybe things could have gone slightly different had things worked out for them in that previous game. Sota, with that Mimikyu Snorlax combination we've seen so often in the Masters Division, a very, very mature combination of Pokemon for him to bring here, but he does need to really worry about that Mimikyu Snorlax combination, the Whimsicott Terrakion combination, as we saw last time. That beat up and the Rockium Z combination is so destructive to any Trick Room strategy here.
Yeah, Wonn can easily just do that move again, and I think it would be a very safe play for him. I mean, the Snorlax went for the belly drum immediately, which to me implies that it needs that, but instead, Wonn Lee going straight on his own offensive.
Yeah, here comes that beat up one more time. No Intimidate on this Terrakion, so it will be at 4 stages of increased physical attack, and it's going to be disastrous here. Mimikyu's disguise is obviously still intact, so you imagine an attack isn't going into that slot. Maybe just going straight for the Snorlax this time around. We see that Terrakion will be moving now. Close combat into the Snorlax, and that is a one-hit knockout. You don't see that often on the Snorlax, but Terrakion is an absolute beast here.
It is, but Mimikyu is going to be free to set up Trick Room, so Sota at least has the opportunity to attack before the Terrakion next turn. That being said, probably going to be forced to switch out that Mimikyu. Whimsicott's Prankster and the Encore combination means it will still be moving first in this turn, and he just cannot afford to get locked into Trick Room again, or really locked into any move that doesn't deal damage. He needs to make up for the fact that one of his heavy hitters just got knocked out.
Yeah, this is a dangerous position for Wonn, with Moal coming in and taking Terrakion's attack down by one stage. Still at +3 stages of attack, which, oh, that's a lot of attack still, but Moal will be moving first. Iron Head, Playroth are really dangerous combinations of attacks going into that Terrakion slot. It's a really big offensive turn for Moal here, as Mimikyu switches out, doesn't want to be on the field and take an Encore onto that Trick Room slot. Pelipper will be coming in now, setting up the rain once again. Not too much of a problem for either of the Pokemon on the other side of the field, because no Fire-type damage being dealt by either of them, as Moal will once again trade his Intimidate ability for that huge power. Terrakion must feel so threatened.
It does, but you have to wonder, will this Moal be able to knock it out? Instead, that Terrakion just gonna go for a Protect.
Safe play here from Wonn, and we see that the Whimsicott went for the Encore there. Moal attacking into that Terrakion slot, so bit of a dead turn, no real damage dealt, but the threat of that Iron Head or Play Rough from Moal is so real.
Yeah, I think the most important thing for Sota right now is the fact that the Whimsicott cannot Encore the Mawile or the Pelipper into anything disadvantageous. So it might just want to leave the field. I like the switch here to protect the Terrakion instead. And Gengar, certainly an interesting choice to send it on the field right now.
And Fake Tears coming out from this Whimsicott that will drastically reduce by 2 stages the special defense of Mawile.
Oh, that's a one-hit knockout too!
Mawile showing that it's no slouch in the attacking department either, as Pelipper gets an attack off a Hurricane into the Whimsicott. That's leaving it 1 HP. Focus Sash revealed onto that Whimsicott, so it's able to stick around for one more turn. And Mawile finally claiming the knockout. We saw the first switch out from Wonn in this game, and it cost him a Pokemon.
Yeah, but what can one more Fake Tears do when your only other revealed Pokemon is a Terrakion? You have to think that Wonn has another special attacker in the back of his party, possibly, to sort of help him out and make that useful. It seems strange to me that he would just make that switch use of Fake Tears and, just otherwise throw away that turn. Even a little bit of a beat up onto that Pelipper might have been useful, because we still don't know what it's holding.
Yeah, interesting turn from Wonn there, possibly just getting a little ahead of himself, a little excited at the opportunity to be able to launch some powerful special attacks at that Mawile. Terrakion coming back in, but we are still under Trick Room conditions. The slowest Pokemon will be moving first. Terrakion in a position to protect itself again, wasting another turn of Trick Room, allowing Mawile not to be able to attack. Pelipper should be able to pick up a knockout onto that Whimsicott once again as well. And then it's going to be Wonn on the back foot with only 2 Pokemon left. We'll have to see if he's able to do anything about that and be able to adjust.
I don't know. I mean, there are 2 turns of Trick Room left, so if Terrakion gets lucky maybe with a double Protect, that could give Wonn the advantage, and that might be one of his only outs. It's really going to depend on what that last Pokemon he brought to this game is.
There goes the Protect. Terrakion obviously feeling the pressure of the huge power from Mawile. Mawile will launch an attack into that Terrakion. It is public enemy #1, and another Hurricane coming out from Pelipper. Whimsicott goes down, so that is 2 Pokemon lost for Wonn. Sota taking a massive advantage in this game, and it's a complete turnaround from the first game, Gabby.
It is, but he's going to have to use this last turn of Trick Room as effectively as possible. It's actually going to be the Tapu Bulu coming out on one side of the field. Tapu Bulu, a grass fairy-type Pokemon, bringing with it the grassy terrain. Maybe something like a Wood Hammer here would be enough to knock out that Mawile in 1 hit. But, the Pelipper is going to be locked into Hurricane, so I don't know how these Pokemon are going to interact under Trick Room. It depends on how they've been trained.
Yeah, Pelipper usually a little bit slower, so it should be able to underspeed that Tapu Bulu depending on how it's been trained. Obviously, Terrakion is the fastest Pokemon on the field. It needs a double Protect here. Doesn't go for it. Instead, the Iron Head will knock out the Terrakion. 3 Pokemon going down under Trick Room for Wonn Lee. Pelipper, it looks like it's moving first here. That's a Hurricane going into the Tapu Bulu. Another 1-hit knockout. We are going to Game 3 in the Junior Division Final at the Pokemon 2018 World Championships.
Even though Sota lost his favorite Pokemon, that Snorlax, he was able to get the Trick Room up and just did an incredible job there of putting on the pressure. That Mawile, that Pelipper did so much damage. Everything, I think, in that turn, or in that entire game, was a 1-hit knockout.
You can see from Game 1 and Game 2 how both of these trainers have made their way into the finals. Such strong strategies being displayed by both of them, with Trick Room being able to be brought up by Sota. It just showed the power of Mega Mawile under that Trick Room. Pelipper, a very nice support option for it too. Defensively, stopping any Fire-type attacks from doing too much damage to the Mawile, but more importantly, that Flying-type damage going into most of Wonn's team really, really dangerous here.
Oh, without a doubt. And that really puts up a big question for Wonn. You know, how does he think that Sota's going to go for the Trick Room going into Game 3? Because you know he needs it. It was just so incredibly powerful throughout that entirety of Game 2. You know, does he bring the Mimikyu again? Does he mix it up? You know, I think Sota's probably the most comfortable with the Mimikyu-Snorlax combination, which is why we saw it in both games. I wouldn't be surprised if we see it again, but then there's going to be a huge guessing game. Do I go for the Z move again, like in Game 1, or do I try and take things a little bit slower, like in Game 2?
If I was Wonn, I would probably be leaning more towards that Game 1 option. It proved to work so well for him. Sota didn't really have an answer, but guys, we're going to have to see this answer. We're going into Game 3. Let us know who you're rooting for using the hashtag #PlayPokemon. Give it up for both of these rockstar trainers. We are in Music City, and we're about to crown a new world champion in the junior division.
Will it be Wonn Lee? Will it be Sota Tamimasa? I don't know. We're going to find out real soon as their Pokemon make an appearance. It's going to be that Mimikyu and Snorlax combination once again from Sota's side of the field, and the Terrakion and the Whimsicott again from Wonn Lee. This is the third time they've led this lead, and honestly, the mind games going on right now must be incredible.
My mind is boggling at this turn. We've seen these Pokemon do several different things each game. What's it going to be this time? Both of these trainers have the opportunity to claim the World Championship at this stage. We see the beat up into the Mimikyu. This looks like it could be a repeat of Game 1. Mimikyu's disguise being busted. Unfortunately for it, it's going to be taking some damage as well here, but most importantly, the disguise is gone. Rocky and Z, Terrakion will be going for the Continental Crush, and Gabby, if this is going into the Mimikyu, it looks like it could be curtains for a Trick Room strategy.
Knowing that Terrakion, knowing that it has close combat, there is no doubt in my mind that this is going to be targeting down that Mimikyu. Wonn Lee needs this knockout. He needs to prevent Trick Room from getting up, and if there's any way to do that, it's just the attack onto that Mimikyu and just absolutely shutting it down.
One hit KO once again. Mimikyu going down. Snorlax going for the belly drum once again. This could be a repeat of Game 1. Wonn must be very, very excited to see this play coming out once again. Again, Snorlax's HP going down to 50%. It's maximized its attack stat. The Aguav Berry will boost it back up to full HP. But now Whimsicott looking at Snorlax and thinking, how about I give you a little encore for your trouble?
Unless Sota's made another adjustment. It looks like the Mawile is still here, so it's very possible that he still has that Pelipper in back as well. You know, maybe Sota decides to give up the belly drum here. You can't let your Snorlax get locked into Encore, because then it's just not going to do anything for the rest of the game. That Pelipper, it is a part flying type. We know that there's only going to be so much damage that close combat can do, but who knows, even after a beat up boost, it might not be able to hold on. There's just so many cards on the table. This Terrakion and Whimsicott are insanely powerful.
It's so difficult for Sota as well. If he changes the attacking option from Mawile and goes into that Whimsicott, the Focus Sash will activate, and it will still be around with 1 HP. Nothing really stopping this Encore play from Whimsicott, especially with no switch outs here. Mawile getting its huge power once again. The bond with its trainer activating Mega Evolution, and we see Whimsicott. Oh, sorry, Terrakion will protect itself. This is the same play that Wonn made in that previous turn. Whimsicott, now for the Encore. Snorlax has been locked into Belly Drum once again. Unfortunately for it, it will not be able to make the use of that Belly Drum, and we see the attack going into the Terrakion. It is obviously such a huge threat, Gabby. Snorlax still locked into that Belly Drum, unable to use any of its attacks, and now we are in a dangerous position if your name is Sota Tamimasa.
Maybe Sota kept the Snorlax on the field just to see if that's something that Wonn Lee would still go to. He still has that final Pokemon in the back, and he can still make that switch to save the Snorlax for later. I think this Mawile, though, is probably going to be the Pokemon that Wonn is going to want to target down as a response, you know? It's really the only thing on the field that can attack right now, and if Wonn Lee is able to remove that, he's only 2 Pokemon away from becoming this year's world champion.
I can see a beat up and a close combat on the cards here for Wonn, and you can imagine he can feel that World Championships coming closer and closer to his side of the table. Whimsicott will be going for the beat up here. We've seen it before. 4 Pokemon remaining in Wonn's party. That'll be 4 strikes of beat up and 4 stages of increased attack for Terrakion. Obviously, the Intimidate was used before by that Mawile on the switch in, so it'll be only 3 stages of increased attack, but that should be more than enough, as we've seen, to knock out this Mega Mawile if there's no Protect, and there wasn't.
There wasn't, because they've already started attacking, which means this Terrakion's going to be moving next. It looks like close combat into that Mawile. Again, 1 hit knockout.
Huge knockout there. momentum swing very, very much into the Whimsicott Terrakion corner for Wonn Lee. Snorlax remains in this time though, again locked into that belly drum. Sota down to his final 2 Pokemon here. You have to see which Pokemon it will be. It might be that Pelipper once again. There it comes. Pelipper coming in. Unfortunately for it, it is on the slower side of the table now because Trick Room is not up. Terrakion and Whimsicott so dangerous, so quick, so powerful. And it looks like Wonn might be able to go for that beat-up Rock Slide play once again. Snorlax still locked into belly drum. Wonn can almost grasp this World Championship title.
Without a doubt. I mean, he does have to be a little bit careful about the fact that Rock Slide can miss. So if he's a little bit worried about that, might be worthwhile to target down something else. But right now, going straight for the beat-up.
The beat-up going into that Pelipper, breaking any potential Focus Sash into that slot. Terrakion gets the Rock Slide on both of these opposing Pokemon. Pelipper goes down. Snorlax staying around the 1/3 of his HP mark, but with all of Wonn's Pokemon still remaining, you can see it on Sota's face there. A little shocked that this situation has gone so south for him, but incredible play from both of these young trainers.
Oh, without a doubt. You know, Sota's team shows so much creativity, just so many different ways he can play it. It's just unfortunate that he really needed that Trick Room, and Wonn Lee was able to predict that perfectly.
Well, we see the Protect coming out from Snorlax here, not taking any damage this turn, but that is another target for Encore from Whimsicott. Terrakion free just to attack into that slot as well. So if Whimsicott goes for the Encore, there's a chance that it could get a double Protect, but it looks like the writing could be on the wall.
Yeah, we would have to stall this game out for a bit because Whimsicott probably still has plenty of PP left for that Encore. So instead just going straight for the beat up. As long as Terrakion's able to land an attack here, Wonn Lee will be your world champion. It connects!
And Wonn Lee is your new Junior Division 2018 World Champion. Incredible performance by him. What a devastating combination Whimsicott and Terrakion has proven to be. Sota Tamemasa so close, but he is a finalist to be proud of as well.
Without a doubt. Again, going back into his team, I mean, it's so cool how he was able to almost acknowledge and respect the fact that he needed that Trick Room so badly and bring so many different